Well, I just realized the audio was off. Ooh, sorry about that. All right, now I got to go back, unfortunately. All right, we'll start the clock right from here. Sorry about that. All right, so I have two buttons I got to push for my audio, and I only pushed one, so I didn't realize. And then I just saw the comments up there, everybody saying no audio. So, all right, let's take it from the top. All right, first thing that I said that was important is that starting in August, so that's August 7th, we're going to change the time on Wednesday for the client support webinars. So those are going to be in the afternoon starting August 7th, and we're going to send an email on the exact time, okay? And hopefully everybody can hear me now. All right, I'm not getting any messages saying you can't, so that's a good sign. All right, so just make a note of that. So we're going to keep the morning sessions for the rest of this month and then switch them to the afternoon. And the reason I'm doing that, it frees up my time to trade in the mornings, okay? So that's kind of one of the reasons I want to do it. Yet at the same point, I think these weekly get-togethers are really super important. So I wanted to be able to be sure to keep doing that. All right, so that is something to note. On the risk side, I kind of covered this a little bit already, but I'll go over it again. You have to use good risk control whenever you trade the financial markets. And the first part of that is always trade with money you can afford to risk, called risk capital. That's step number one. After that, then you have to use risk control on every trade. And we call that controlling your trade risk. And when you control your trade risk, that means when you go into a trade, you have to know where to get out if the trade doesn't work, right? And then when you get out, you need to know what that loss is going to be when you take the trade. So that way you can determine the correct trade size, or shares if you're going into a stock, or contracts for a particular futures or whatever. So you have to know that before you take the trade. And that's what the trade size calculator is all about, and all the risk control books I published as well. So that's really important, but of course you have to have an edge. And that edge consists, of course, picking the best entries and exits, and also your style of trading. What kind of trader are you? I mean, scalping techniques are totally different than trend trading techniques. And you have to feel what's comfortable for you. And yes, you could be a scalper on a position trade. You can hold a trade for a couple of days and then scalp out of it. Or you can be a trend trader and hold a trade for quite some time, overnight, maybe a week, a month, who knows, however long you're going to be in until the market stops you out, right? So there's different styles of trading, and you have to have an edge, or else obviously you're not going to do very well, but that edge has to include risk control. And so keep that in mind. And again, if you need help on that, I've written several books on it. Going back to funding your account with money you can afford to risk, all right, if you're going to do day trading or any type of trading intraday like that, then what I strongly suggest is you do it with money you can afford to risk. And if you're trying to make a living out of it, you're going to need a lot of money, okay? Plain and simple. You're not going to be, I've never met anybody that can make a living on a $10,000 account. Yeah, you might have fun with it, you can grow it, but unless you're living in a tent with no electricity and no monthly expenses, forget about it, all right? It's just not going to happen, all right? You need to have quite a bit of money. And the amount of money is going to be determined by the amount of profit and points your edge gives you, and then you've got to reverse engineer it to figure out what size account you're going to need in order to basically provide enough money on a monthly basis for you to live off of. And then that comes down to picking what style of trader you're going to be. If you need money every month and you're going to be a longer term position trader, well, you may go months without any income before you cash in on that trade and take it all out. So you need to be able to determine how often you need the money. So there's a lot of things that come into effect in determining the style of trading. Now, if you're scalping, it's going to be totally different than if you're position trading, right? Because scalping requires intensity. a lot of energy, all right, versus trend trading. Now you can trend trade, you can trend trade intraday trends. You can do that, but that is different than scalp trading. Scalp trading requires you to be glued to that monitor, so to speak, and watch for very short-term moves in the markets. And usually entries are off things like art reversals, candlesticks, support resistance levels. Some people use VWAP and volume profiles and the whole. There's so many different ways in which you can do that, but you have to find one that works for you. All right. And again, you know, what I would suggest, if you don't have the money to day trade, but you have the time, all right, what I think is an excellent way to go about it is through a prop fund. And the one I recommend is Apex Trader Funding. It's been around the longest, and they do pay out. You can see the payouts right in front of you there. But it's a great firm. I put a link up in there. I'm going to put it up there again in case you just came in late. But there's a link with a code that will give you a substantial discount on their subscriptions. And basically how it works is you start out with an evaluation account, which is nothing more than a simulated account with them. And they set it for X number of dollars. You know, if you sign up for a $50,000 account, then your subscription fee is going to renew every month, unless you reach a certain threshold. In other words, you're profitable, you're successful. Then at any time when you're that way, then they turn it over into a real funded account. And then the clock starts ticking at that point for you to actually be able to make money. And they'll do 90% payouts on your profits. And the first 25,000 is 100%. So you can do really well in this if you have an edge. And what I would do is, instead of risking your own money, you know, if you're a little tight, you don't want to put that kind of money in something like that, or especially if you're new, sign up for like one account, okay? And work on practice on getting your edge on that one account. When that becomes funded, then you can get another account. And the way you really make money in this stuff is you have more than one funded account with the same firm. For example, Apex will allow you to have 20 accounts. And then you can copy those trades on every 20 accounts. Let's say if you're a scalper, all right, and you make 200 bucks on just one account, but you copied it on 20. Well, now you've made a lot of money, okay? Not just 200, right? And so that's how people pull out these enormous amounts of money once they have an edge. And yes, if you lose, you'll lose across 20 accounts. So that's why I'm saying, while you develop your edge, do it with one account, start out and really take it seriously. And, you know, and you can qualify by, you know, just taking an ultra large position, no risk control, and see if you get lucky. Some people do that. All right. I think a better way of going at it really is to do it properly with an edge and go as slow as or as fast as your edge will allow, and do it that way. Because even if you get lucky and get funded, you still got to make money with it. And if you don't have an edge, how are you going to do that, right? So the edge is everything, okay? But it is an excellent way to get involved in day trading the futures market, with only the risk being the amount you pay for the subscription. And it's not that much if you use my discount code. This is an example of trading we did last week on July 9th. Okay, not every day is this great, but this day the edge worked really well. Okay, so you can do this, and we copied some trades over and so forth, but we're building these up so we get a ton of funded accounts, and that's the idea. All right, so you know, it's great. It really is a great way to tiptoe into day trading without much risk. So that's kind of why I'm explaining that. I know I have a lot of people always interested in that, but you can certainly decide how you want to do that yourself. All right, a couple books I have on money management, which we discussed before, and then The Art of Trading is coming out this year. And we had it up to 700 pages, and the publisher asked us to pull it back to 500. So we're going to pull it back and then have a companion website for the book for things like charts and the art software that we can update to knock the pages down a little bit to the 500 page limit. So it'll be right around that ballpark. So it's a pretty thick book, all right? It's going to be pretty good. It's basically a mind dump of me in writing, and then we go over in the appendixes software, how to use it, etc. So that is done and will be available. All right, and then finally, before we get into anything else, this is the art software along with scanners and also Trader's Assistant. The art software, the OWL, PTF, TLM, and ERI go in your charts. The scanners go basically in the scanning software on either Market Analyzer inside NinjaTrader, or they go into Radar Screen on TradeStation, or into the scanner in multi-charts. All right, there's no scanner capabilities that we could program for in eSignal or MT4 and MT5. And the risk control software, which is at the bottom row, is all standalone software, not requiring a platform at all, okay? So that's kind of where we're at on that. All right, so let's take a quick look at Bitcoin here, and then I'll get to your questions in just a moment, okay? So on Bitcoin, all right, we may have had a bottom in Bitcoin. I'm gonna open this chart up a little bit here. And we had a pullback here. And the pullback just hit our target zone. Let me just make sure I got all that. You can see it. I'm gonna open this up so you can see it a little better. So it just hit the target zone here, okay? So that was a good sign. We had a red PTF, now it's turned yellow, and we had a nice bounce off the bottom. All right, what I'm waiting for next, we have a 1B reversal, is a pullback. This pullback will be everything in terms of determining whether we want to add on to our position or not, because we want to make sure the bottom is in. The pullback should retrace no further than the bottom, if that is the bottom. So then we would look off for something like this and then another move up, all right? And so that's kind of what we want to see to verify the bottom is in. And if the bottom is in, and I grab a fib extension here, then this will be pretty much, give or take a point or two, where the next major high on Bitcoin will be, and this will be 86 to 107. So we could reach there, if the bottom's in, we could reach there by the end of the year, maybe even sooner, of course, but that's what we're hoping. We're hoping that bottom is in and it is down. Now notice this bottom here, all right, was not quite deep enough, but it did have an ABC. So maybe 3, we were thinking maybe 4, but then we took that bottom out over here and it looks more like an ABC. Now, here's what concerns me on this and what I want to be very careful about. This C wave is not as extravagant or deep as this A wave in terms of it went quicker, but I want to make sure that's over. Okay, it's probably close enough that it could be a valid C wave. All right, so I'm kind of thinking that's what I'm thinking it is. But all right, it is possible to go down one more time and then go. Long term, do I think it's going to get up to that upper target? Yes, no question about it. The difficulty is making sure that the bottom is in yet before we go up there. Now, why am I so confident about that? Well, if we open up the weekly chart, notice we have a green PTF down here, okay, which are indicating, if you take the highest bar in the high, it's indicating highs above here. So that would kind of make sense for that. We do not have a red yet, and I don't think we're going to get one because I think this is a minor 4 inside still an unfolding 3. So even though our next high was based off that daily chart, when that hits, that'll be the top of wave 3 on the weekly. And then after that, we'll go into a pretty serious wave 4, which will be interpreted as a bear market on the shorter time frames. So I'm kind of thinking, for me, I want to get out up here, and then I'll look to get back in a year or so after it comes back down. So that's kind of where I'm thinking it's going. So we'll see, but I want to make sure that bottom is in. All the clues are there that it is, but we want to verify that with one significant pullback. So I want to see that. What I do like is the July 3rd low, or whatever, not the July 3rd, the low here, which let me just see. Yeah, I guess that is July 3rd, 3rd and 4th. That low here, all right, on the 60-minute chart did have a nice pullback, and we're off to the races. So now we should get one more pullback and then go again, and that should verify the daily chart. So, and we're also close to a green owl on the daily chart. I have no more red PTFs. So the green lights are starting to show that we're heading towards that high. So that's a really good sign. So if you're in Bitcoin, you know, personally, I would hold it, all right? And even if it comes back down again, you got to make the decision whether you're longer term or shorter term. But if it comes back down here, this will be another buying opportunity at some point. And if it continues, if it pulls back and goes back up again, I think that will be a buying opportunity, and that you should catch the momentum pretty quickly to get into that target. Any thoughts on that? That analysis I just did on Bitcoin can be done on any time frame, any market. Any time frame, any market. Okay. How many people are in Bitcoin right now? Okay, good. Quite a few. Excellent. All right. Another announcement let me just make here is that, you know, sometime in October, we're still kind of working on the dates, make sure everything is good for the hotels and all that kind of stuff. We're going to have a tutorial in Tucson on trading, of course, and it's going to be a 2-day tutorial in person. We're going to go over scalping, we're going to go over trend trading, we're going to go over position trading, we're going to go over risk control, we're going to go over how to develop your trading edge, and pretty much cover the gambit of what you need to focus on. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to spend some time live trading. We'll scalp some of the markets and on intraday time frames, and we'll position trade, look at markets for setup. So when you leave, all right, you'll have a better understanding of not only how to use our software, but how to trade different styles to see what you kind of like, and also to work on your trading rules there while you're there. So we can help you mold those into things that should work better. You know, take the things that kind of are not clear or tested, remove those, and get them replaced with more of the rules that you need to implement. So I think that would be a good part for most everybody. So that's coming in October, and we'll keep you advised, okay? We'll send out emails on that. All right, what else? Anything else? Anybody have any specific questions or anything that's giving them a hard time or anything in terms of trading or software or anything of that nature? Software should work on the latest updates on all the platforms. So if you have trouble with any of that, let me know, okay? All right, good. All right, thanks, Jeff. Okay, good. Glad you like it. All right, I think one more interest rate cut probably coming in September. It looks like that's almost guaranteed now. Might even get two. I have to see. All right, so markets are kind of screaming along, which I'm really liking because now they're getting solid in that wave 5 target zone. So that's a real good sign for those of you that do our more stuff. You know exactly what I'm talking about, or the Oracle. All right, well, I don't see any more questions coming in, and that's kind of what I wanted to cover today, and a lot of announcements today. So next week we'll be here at the same time, so no worries there. But in August, don't forget, mark your calendars, we'll be changing the client support from the morning to the afternoon, and we'll let you know the time of that. Okay, and that's going to start, I guess that will start, what, August 7th. Okay, August 7th. All right. Hey, Frank, good to have you here. I didn't see you in here. Good to have you here. Frank is also a member of our day trading room, and he's all the way across the pond, so to speak, in Austria. Good to have you here. Thank you, Frank. Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. I'd love to get some feedback on it when you get it. All right, anybody else? Any other thoughts? By the way, Frank, good job yesterday in the day trading room. All right. Well, why don't we go ahead and close out here? All right, I think I've answered the questions and I'll let you guys get back to work. I'll check out the NASDAQ and see how that's doing this morning, see if there's any other trades available. All right, well, you guys have a good one, and thanks so much for tuning in. And we'll see you back here next week, and it'll be the same time next week. All right, have a good one, and we'll, of course, post this on the normal area on our YouTube page there. Remember, we unlist those. These are unlisted because these are private. So you have to access the recordings for the client support through the VIP client area. So you go to our website and go where it says client login or something like that, and you'll get it there, okay? All right, everybody, have a good one. Thank you so much.